down here. Gorgeous.
Beautiful fish I landed. Look at the fish I got.
Even Jeff's catching them. Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig of Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and I've traveled deep into the heart of the Great Smoky Mountains here. And today, of course, we're fishing with Ian and Charity Rutter from R&R Fly Fishing, our great friends and most gracious guides and hosts here this week. We're hiking in about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, something like that, apparently going past some amazing scenery. And we are in hot pursuit of native brook trout high up here in the Great Smoky Mountains. I've got my 8-foot 8-inch Scott G series with, of course, a click and pawl reel. I did some special leader rigging last night, shortened up my leader. I'm going to play around with some different things today and hopefully get better at dry fly fishing, but I'm really, really excited. First of all, to spend the day with Ian and Charity, that's always fun, but native brook trout here in the Great Smoky Mountains. Let's get after it. Follow along.
So this is the natural barrier that keeps the brook trout separate from any other fish that they would be competing with. So it's about 80 feet tall. The biologists tell us that trout can run a 12-time vertical, 12 times their body length. And so this is definitely more than that to keep the rainbow trout and browns that are below the falls out of the same water that the brook trout that have all been restored above the falls live. Hey! A lot of water.
Yeah, we fish it from like here and just catch big fish. He's right there. Yeah. All right, Miss Charity, get in there.
So we've got a beautiful native brook trout. We're sitting right in this little soft edge. Hit my dry fly. I'm gonna lay my rod across your wrist there. So they have beautiful orange fins, red spots, that orange on the adipose. Here in the water. He'll probably sit right here on the gravel for us to catch his breath. Oh, there he goes.
So I brought with me, I actually found this in my office. I forgot I had it. But it's an old Scott, as far as I know, from the 80s, maybe from the 70s. An original Scott G series. It's 8-foot 8-inch 2-weight. Absolutely perfect for this kind of fishing. I mean, this is a great length. I mean, you know, you really want a long rod. You got to control these drifts. A lot of time I'm just drifting the leader. But I've got a Wolf triangle taper in a 2-weight. I really think the triangle taper is one of the best possible lines for this kind of scenario, because a lot of times you only have just feet of fly line. And with the Wolf triangle taper, you've always got thicker pushing thinner. So whether I have feet, 10-foot, 20-foot of line out in some cases on some of the bigger rivers, the Wolf triangle taper is the best line for these light rods. And it also allows me to use a much finer leader butt, which you really have to with a 2-weight, but it really allows me to build a much better and more appropriate leader for this style of fishing. And I've got a furled leader snelled onto there, which I shortened up. So I have a shorter, about a 3-foot butt section. And then I'm just running 4-foot of tippet off my connector off the furled leader. We put on a yellow humpy. Of course, yellow is a key color here in the Smokies. Yellow is a key color anywhere, but here in the Smokies, I'm going to be fishing a click and pawl reel in this situation. And I treated myself to this Lamson Purist, which we've talked about before. Man, it's really a modern day version of a click and pawl, but this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I love this reel. I'm gonna own more of them. It's the Lamson Purist Click and Pawl, just perfect for this type of setup. Take the dryer to now.
Aren't they gorgeous?
It's not fair.
All right. I just took my turn.
Yeah, you're benched.
Look at all that crap water upstream.
Yeah, we'll see.
Go get him.
We'll see.
Don't be jealous, Ian.
Ooh. That was nice stuff.
That should have been.
Absolutely. Let me,
Yep, do it.
let's just try a different little package.
Yeah.
But, you know, that one right there, that was actually your very first in the whole shot in the whole pool. Very typical. Oh, I felt that one.
Yeah.
You took the bead. Might have been the same fish that looked at your Rapidan.
There he is.
Little guy, we'll take it. You know, Brian, a brook trout on a beadhead nymph doesn't hardly seem right. Such a dry fly thing. We got it. We do what we got to do.
You can do what you got to do, man.
There you go. So, you know, Brian, it kind of goes to the attitude of the fish today that maybe half the ones that we brought down have been on nymphs. That's really kind of rare.
Yeah.
We're usually kind of dry fly only, and we've gone ahead and tacked nymphs on for an insurance policy. So shows they're not super motivated today. You've had some great drifts. You had an awesome refusal a minute ago. Thought he'd eat. But.
Yeah. Well, I'll get one. It's always good to take a water temperature, especially when you're trout fishing. And I know it's plenty cold enough up here, but thought they had a fish on. But this is a really handy little gadget. It's a digital thermometer from our friends at Fish Pond. Super easy to use, super compact. It's got a carabiner on it, super durable. And all you do is press the button, hold it for 2 seconds, it turns on, stick the probe in the water. This thing is completely waterproof, submersible. Should get a reading in a short period of time, and we're looking at 56, it was 56 degrees. So right there, that's where we need it to be. Super easy to use, and it goes from -30 to 130 degrees, so that should cover most bases. Press the button for 2 seconds, it turns off. You can easily switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Also, just tap it 3 times. So super easy to use, super compact. The Fish Pond digital thermometer, available at matterriveroutfitters.com.
You got some prime, grade 8 prime here, Brian. Nice.
Look at that! That's beautiful! Oh my goodness! Oh, we don't have the net down here. Gorgeous.
Beautiful fish I landed. Look at the fish I got.
Even Jeff's catching them.
That's
a trophy fish
my
right there, man.
goodness gracious.
That is a trophy.
That is gorgeous. Good job, Brian. Beautiful. You want me to take your rod?
Less than one float.
Beautiful. Wow. Stunning.
I'm gonna let him free.
A lot of color.
Thumbs up.
Rock on. Like butter.
Like butter. So Charity, we're standing in what might be one of the most beautiful places on earth.
I love this place.
You do. This
It
is
is
one of your favorite
Yes.
brook trout streams.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about, first and foremost, the brook trout here in the Great Smoky Mountains, and then a little bit about the story of this particular stream. But I mean, when I was growing up in the Smoky and hanging out here in the Smokies, brook trout were like a thing of the past.
Right.
It was like a sad historical story, and over the course of my lifetime and over the course of your and Ian's lifetime, we've seen those brook trout make a amazing, phenomenal resurgence. And just give us a little bit of that history.
Sure. So even when you were growing up here and everybody thought they were gone, they were actually still here. They were just up in the highest reaches, in the steepest waters, really hard to access. And our National Park Service, as they discovered them in smaller streams, they started closing off those streams because they didn't want them to have pressure. They wanted to try to give them time to thrive. So the National Park Service has done an incredible job through the years with special funding to actually restore the streams. You know, the motto of the park is to try to keep everything as it was originally.
Yeah.
And this section that we're fishing was closed for several years during a restoration. And the cool part is they went to other parts of the national park to collect brook trout, and they brought them into this stream, leaving it closed until they could put them in several areas. But what they did is they went to those far reaches, those places that were so hard to get to, that had really dense populations. And they would pull out some from one spot on one side of the mountain, some from another spot on another side of the mountain, until they saw that the fish were starting to reproduce in here and spread out, and then they opened it up to fishing. And it is, I mean, look at the fish that were caught today. They're just the most beautiful brookies.
Yeah, and you know, it's been a slow day for us here today. We've all caught some fish. In fact, I caught my biggest, I believe that's the biggest brook trout I've ever caught in the Smokies. Heck, I've only caught a handful, because even 15 or 20 years ago when I was here hanging out with you guys, the brook trout was even not what it is today.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the streams were still closed.
I mean, it's come such a long way, and it's such a great American story, or great Appalachian story.
Yes.
That they've been able to do that, and it's just further proof that mankind can make a positive difference instead
Absolutely.
of what you hear in the news is that we make a negative
Right.
you know, impact on something. Well, this is a positive impact.
Yeah, and just supporting our national parks so that they can continue to, you know, restore areas and keep places like this so pristine for all of us to enjoy for generations.
Well, this is one of my favorite places on the planet. And it's been a joy to share it with you guys, and a real thrill to come up here. I've learned a lot today from you guys, and like I said, caught my personal best here in the Smoky Mountains.
Yes.
So, you know, one other cool fact which I read in your book, the brook trout here in the Smoky Mountains are a unique species. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So this is a different, theoretically, species than one I'm going to catch in Labrador in a few weeks, and what you might find elsewhere.
Absolutely.
That's further makes the story even further more interesting.
Well, and when you think about, they've survived here in these mountains since the Ice Age. I mean, they used to be the only trout here.
Right.
So, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Well, what an amazing fishery, and what an ungodly beautiful place.
Incredible.
So, you know what? Let's go catch another fish.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, let's go.